Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a video on things that you need to know before you go to Disneyland Paris. Now, if you're a planner like me, there's going to be a lot that you need to know, but I've picked sort of the top ones that I feel would benefit everyone in general, whether you like to plan or whether or not you're kind of the go with the flow kind of people. So, the first thing that I feel people don't know is the fast passes that are included in your park tickets. Now, I'll be honest, I have no idea what park tickets look like if you're only going for a day trip or if you're staying off-site and you get your tickets via a different means. They will still include fast passes, but if you're staying at a Disneyland hotel, you will get one of these. This is a Magic Pass. Now, this is your room key. It'll have your half board or full board meal vouchers on it, and it is your entry to the park. Do not lose it. Do not lose it. That might be a really bad thing. But basically, with the fast passes, there are certain rides, and I think it's important for everyone to know that not all rides at Disneyland Paris have a fast pass queue. They don't all have fast passes. Some of them do. Now, on the rides that do have fast passes, there's a little machine next to the ride. If you cannot find it, go and ask a cast member. There will be one dotted around somewhere, usually at the fast pass entrance to the ride. There's usually somebody there because they have to check. So you go up, you scan this, and then you get a little ticket, and the ticket will give you a half-hour slot at a time. So your half-hour slot might be from 3:15 to 4:45 in the afternoon. It might be from 11 till 11:30. It depends on when you get your fast passes and how many have sold before you've gotten there. So that is important. I think very important for people to realise. You can buy fast passes at Disneyland Paris. They aren't cheap, but there is an option. And you can purchase these, pretty sure you can purchase them on the gate. If you're going beforehand and you decide you want to purchase the fast passes, you can add them to packages as well. The next thing I think people need to be made aware of is counter service restaurants. Now, a lot of people seem to think that eating at Disneyland is expensive. Yeah, it is. But there are cheaper ways of doing it. Your counter service restaurants give you 3 menus. The most expensive menu is €16.99 for an adult, and they are big portions. You could easily split one meal between two, especially if you buy an adult's meal for a child. You could get 2 kids to eat it. So the list of counter service restaurants is on the Disneyland Paris website, and they are so good if you are on a budget. Me and my family, there's my husband, myself and my little boy, we feed ourselves on counter service restaurants at about, I think our budget was about €50 a day for all of us to have one main meal, because we do snack throughout the day as well. We're not big eaters. Obviously, if you are a big eater, you might find that it's actually more beneficial for you to have either more quick service, more counter service restaurants, or more buffets and sit-down restaurants. The buffets and sit-down restaurants start at €30 per adult. And if you don't have a meal plan, I don't believe they come with a drink. If you have a meal plan, you'll get the meal and a drink included in the price. But the counter service restaurants are a very, very good way of keeping the costs down when you go to Disneyland Paris, especially if you are trying to do it on a budget. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of the ones we've eaten at. We really did like Bellinot in Fantasyland, and I will insert a picture of the Mickey shaped pizza that we had. And I think it was about €42 for us all to have meals. My son had a meal for himself. He didn't eat it all, but and obviously me and my husband had one each as well. It was really nice. I was quite surprised at how affordable and tasty they were. So that's a very good solution. There is also a McDonald's on site. That I'm pretty sure is very similar prices to the UK if you convert the pound into the euro. We have never eaten at McDonald's. It does get very, very busy. There also is a Vapiano's, I think that's how you say it. And a lot of people have also said that they do really cheap, decent sized meals. The next thing that I think is important for people to know is if you download the Disneyland app, which I will insert a clip in a second. If you download the app, you'll be able to see approximately 3 months in advance what rides are closed for refurbishment. I see it all the time over Facebook pages, and people are like, oh, I didn't know it was closed, I didn't know it was closed, there's so much closed. You can check. It'll also list the restaurants that are closed as well. So if you have a particular restaurant in mind and you go to book your restaurants and then find out that it's closed, it won't be such a shock if you use the app and find out. With the app, and with ride closures especially, bear in mind Disneyland Paris is open 365 days a year. There is always going to be something closed for refurbishment. There is more closed during the winter than there is during the summer, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen, unfortunately. When the park doesn't close, they can't get away with not closing the rides. Like I say, winter is definitely more closures than summer, but it doesn't affect how much magic and how much of a good time that you and your family can have. The next tip also goes on apps. Now, I understand some people aren't tech savvy. My husband is more tech savvy than I am. And I know there's a lot of people that just don't do phones at all while they're on holiday. However, there is certain things that you can't get away with at Disneyland Paris. For example, download the Liberty app. Now, this app is used to meet and greets in Studios Park. Not all of them, but I would say 80% of them are on that Liberty app. And at 9:45 in the morning, you load up the app and you press whichever meet and greet you want to attempt to get, and it will get you a ticket number. Now, the idea of Liberty is it is you virtually queuing for that meet and greet. So you can have a ticket, I don't know, ticket number 10, and you'll get buzzed, I think, maybe half an hour later. It depends on how quickly they get through the line, and then you go to that meet and greet and enjoy meeting whoever it is that you want to meet. But the Liberty app is definitely one that you should have ready and raring to go before you start your trip. Saves a lot of hassle when you get there. Moving on to my next, I don't know if you'd call it a tip, but it's definitely a bit of information. A lot of people ask, what do we do if it rains? Carry on. Get wet. If it rains and it's France, it's gonna rain. You could go in January and you could have a heat wave. It could rain, it could snow. You can go in August. It could be thunder and lightning. It could be raining. It could be 35 degrees outside. It's inevitable. You cannot plan a trip around the weather, unfortunately. With rain, everything will still carry on unless it becomes a health hazard. And in that aspect, they tend to adapt things. For example, we've been, when it's been raining, because we go off-peak, we tend to go any time between November and March. When we've been, the parade has been adapted, so they might not have people in parade floats, they'll have them walking. They won't have people on like the hoverboard type things that you get. They'll have people walking. Very, very rarely are parades and shows completely 100% cancelled and not run. So don't panic. You can still have a great time. The other thing about raining as well, queues are shorter. Queues are a lot shorter. A lot of people, when it rains, they leave, especially if they are French nationals who just go to Disneyland Paris for the day. Believe you me, I have seen ride times go from 90 minutes to 20 minutes like that because it's been raining and everyone's just gone, oh no, let's go for shelter. Take a poncho, take raincoats and enjoy it. Really embrace it. You cannot control the weather, and I do think that it's a little bit silly to try and book a holiday around the weather. It's Europe, it's France. If you're from the UK, you'll understand that you can have every season in one day. I understand that if you're coming from, especially the States, that's a little bit difficult, and I know a lot of people have come over and had a bit of a shock with just how much difference the weather is here compared to where they're from. But definitely don't let it ruin your trip. Enjoy it. The next thing I think people should be aware of before they go on their trip is the hotel rooms. So this will obviously only apply to you if you're staying on site. I don't know if off-site hotels are the same. I've never stayed off-site. But for on-site hotels, there are a very limited amount of plug sockets. In a day and age where we have iPhones, tablets, cameras, camcorders, the lot, and for a place where people do take lots of technology with them because they want to take videos, they want to take photos, they want to preserve those memories, there's not very many plug sockets. My advice, and it's something that we do every time we go, take one adapter. So if you're from the UK, take an UK to EU adapter, and then take an extension lead. Because that is a lot easier than trying to hunt around the room for different outputs and having to take 20 million plug adapters with you as well. So definitely take the extension lead. The other thing that has recently changed in Disneyland Paris, and it might seem like a really obvious thing, but I do think people tend to forget, like me. Disneyland Paris now no longer offer bags with their shopping. Just like here in the UK, plastic bags are a no-go. You either have to pay for bags for life, or you take your own. So just bear that in mind if you don't want to be paying for bags, which I don't think they're that cheap. I think they're about €2 and they go up as well. They're not cheap for bags. So yeah, just bear that in mind and maybe take some with you. Bags don't take up a lot of space. Stuff them in your shoes if you need to. And the last bit of information or tip that I think people should be aware of, and this will be applied to those of you that have young children. Nappy changing. I have seen people queue out the door to the ladies' toilets so they can change their child. Now, if you've got a child that's in nappies, you'll know it's inevitable. You've got to do it at some point in the day. If your kids are anything like mine, it's multiple times in the day. Men's changing rooms at Disneyland Paris have changing facilities. There are spaces at the end of the sinks for children to be changed. Believe you me, the queues in the men's toilets are like non-existent in comparison to the ladies' toilets. So, sorry, fathers, I'm sorry. I've just roped you into changing nappies. But honestly, it is a lot easier to send dad in with the child to go and get a bum change, and it's so much quicker. And then you're not standing around. And again, I think it's a good thing to take a note of, because especially children like my son, they do not like it when they have to wait and they've got a messy nappy. So always good to make a note of where the toilets are. The ones we use most often are the ones in Fantasyland. There's 2 sets. There's a set opposite Peter Pan's flight, and there's another set of toilets to the side of Bella Knot. Get a map. They're all marked on the maps. Check out where they are, especially if you're potty training as well. Like, you don't want to be caught out when you're trying to, find a toilet and you're the other side of the park. But those are my tips or bits of information that I feel people should know before they go to Disney. And with that, I hope everyone has the best holidays they can possibly have, and I hope you find this video very informative. I will see you all soon.